Hello there, Bonky here, aka your Lonely Achievement Guide, coming at you with an achievement guide for a Japanese visual novel for a Japanese Xbox 360. I'm not going to attempt to butcher the name more than I have to, so we're just going to call it MajiTen, which is MajiTen if you need to search for it. I'm not going to try to go through the entire title because I will butcher it. I do not speak, read, or write in Japanese, so that made this a lot more difficult for me, which is why I am making an achievement guide for it. This isn't meant to disrespect any of the people involved in the current information on the internet, but a lot of it is jumbled or contradicts each other, or it was just difficult for me to get a picture of exactly what I needed to do from the information that is currently out there. So what I want to do is try to combine all that information into one place so that in the future, the 7 of you that are probably going to complete this game after I have will be able to use this information to do so quickly and not run into some of the same traps that I did trying to go through. So before we go any further, the game was published by Idea Factory and developed by Lupinus, again, butchering these, I'm sure. It initially released on the 20th of September of 2012, is a disc only, and is in the Japanese region for the Xbox 360. So in order to play it, you need a Japanese Xbox 360. It is also not backward compatible. So even though, Xbox Ones are region free, you have to play this on a 360. So you do need to get a Japanese Xbox 360 and a physical copy in order to play it. If you get incredibly lucky, you could get this game done in under 2 hours. Unfortunately, there is a completely random achievement that could throw a wrench in your quick completion plans. I have tested this myself and can confirm it is completely random. There is nothing you can do that will specifically trigger this achievement. On that note, there isn't anything you can do that will lock you out of the achievement, but I can't point to you and say, do this, do this, do this, and this achievement will unlock. 11 of the 12 achievements will unlock in less than 2 hours for you. The 12th one is random. You may not get it, or you may end up like I was, and I actually unlocked it, got the scene to unlock it twice in my full playthrough. Unfortunately, there's just no way for me to be able to predict and tell you when it will unlock. So while you could get this done in under 2 hours, you may end up having to replay the game multiple times, so you could be looking at 3, 4, 5, even up to 6 hours, depending on how unlucky you are. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do or say to help you proc that achievement, because the game just decides whether it likes you or not. And to prove my point, I actually was saving at the beginning of a month, and 11 days into the month, I unlocked the achievement. So what I did when I was done with my playthrough is I reloaded that save, did the exact same options leading up to the achievement happening, and it didn't happen on the second time through. That doesn't make any sense. Everything was exactly the same, which means it's just dependent on whether the game likes you or not. There is nothing I can do, unfortunately, to tell you how to get this achievement. So just keep that in mind as you're going through. 11 of the 12 achievements will take less than 2 hours if you follow along with me. However, that 12th one could be a pain in your butt. There is information all over the place on True Achievements and XboxAchievements.com, but no one really has a solid guide to getting that to unlock. Some people have said use the red-haired girl. I used a different character and got it to unlock for me. Some people have claimed to put your birthdays on the same day, which we will be doing in the guide, but I don't know that it really has anything to do with that. There's just nothing to really point to, unfortunately, and I do apologize in advance, because I can only point you to 11 of the 12 achievements, and hopefully that 12th one will pop for you. If it doesn't, I will be pointing out a good spot for you to save the game, so cut down on a little bit of time for you having to replay, but unfortunately, there's just nothing else to be done except to replay the game until that achievement does pop and the game decides you deserve it. So, let's get into the other achievements, though. We do have 12 achievements. 7 of them are basically story related. 6 are officially story related, and a 7th will pop while going through the story. There is an achievement for customizing your partner's clothing. There is the random achievement, which again may unlock for you early on. It may not unlock until subsequent playthroughs. There are 2 achievements related to getting LP. I guess it's love points. I don't really know. You get love points by going on dates and stuff like that, and we'll cover that once we get to that point in the guide. And the final achievement is for visiting the beach on your dates. Again, something we will cover as we go through the game. It's a very simple and straightforward list, if not for that random achievement, but let's go ahead, and there's no sense sulking about it. We might as well get started. We're going to go ahead, when you start the game, make sure you choose your save location and all that, because we're on the 360, and we're going to go to this option here. You're going to select the first option, and what you're going to do is have the settings set up exactly as I do here. So these 2 options on the left side, these 2 down here are fine in the default position, and these 3 over here, you need to put the bars all the way up and put the bottom option all on the right selection there as well. So once you have copied me doing that, press B. And you're going to scroll down to this first option here. Don't be in bonky kook and go down to this option because it does not save your progress. You're going to go to this option, and unfortunately I have it already set up. You're going to have to pick the top option in 2 or 3 dialog boxes to confirm your options. I guess, just to be, to show you exactly what I mean, we'll just do this. We're going to back out. I realize I should be showing you if I'm going to tell you something. So once you get and confirm it, you're going to have to choose the top option here. It'll go through a little bit of text that we can't understand. Once you get here, you can press A to advance. You may have to confirm it again, and you may have to confirm it a 3rd time. I don't know why I did the one time. I am using a turbo controller because I thought I needed to. You don't need to. I actually have the A button turboed right now, and that may have caused me to have to do that 2 or 3 times, but confirm it as many times as you have to, and eventually you'll be brought back to the main menu. I do recommend going back in and just confirming that all of the options are the same as you need them to be. I'm just going to return ours here, but everything should look exactly as it is on the screen right now, and if it does, you are good to go. I'm going to just confirm the settings again to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Once we get back to the main menu, we are good to go. We're going to go ahead and check this option out here. It'll bring us in, and we have to do a couple of names here. Now, I think I'm screwing this up a little bit, but this is what I do. Whatever characters I desire, we're going to hit the top option there. We're going to put in whatever characters we can there. And then we're going to confirm this one more time. This next dialog box, you'll see at the top, it has 1 through 12. We are picking our birth month. Again, I think I already mentioned this. We are going to be aligning our birthday with our partner. One of the solutions for the random achievement said that this might help, so it can't hurt. We're going to go ahead and do it. So we're going to pick 4 for our birth month and confirm that. And then we're going to pick 5 for our birthday and confirm that. And then we'll just have to remember that. Once you get to this menu, we're going to pick the top option that makes it green down there. And once you do, you can hit the X button and it will start skipping things like crazy. Now, don't skip too far ahead. What we're going to be doing is there's going to be a scene. First, we're going to pick the top option. 99% of the time, the dialogue options are just going to be the very first one. There are 3 dialogue options, I believe, throughout the course of our entire playthrough that will not be the first option. So just pick the first option nonstop. Almost all of the dialogue will continue to skip, but sometimes it does get turned off, so just hit the X button again to start skipping again. So what we're going to be doing, before I was rudely interrupted by having to do guide work, how dare they, we're going to get eventually to this room where the guy and the girl, which we haven't been introduced to the guy yet, will be talking at the same time. When we do, we're going to stop skipping and we are going to save the game. It's not a big deal, but it will save you a little bit of time if you do have to replay the game for that random achievement, so you don't have to go through all this beginning stuff. We haven't met the guy yet. We will eventually. To my knowledge, this is just, I almost died. I might be in some sort of heaven. I don't really know. And they're like, we're going to make you a woman. Okay. Achievements. Again, just skip through picking the top dialogue option. Once you get here, this is one of the 3 that we will be picking, option number 2. So go ahead and pick option number 2. I believe you just end up in a loop if you keep picking option 1. So again, make sure you are paying attention. I believe our gentleman shows up here. Once we are back in that room and both the guy and the girl are talking to us, we are going to stop skipping and we are going to press the Y button. This first option here at the top is the save. This is load, and I don't know what the rest of these are. This one changes your options. We don't have very many options over there yet. Keep that in mind, though. That is very important for some of the achievements later on. So, anyways, make sure you get back to this first menu, and we're going to choose the first option here, which is save. Once you do, you can choose whatever save slot you want. Excuse me. Just when you do, make sure you choose the top option to confirm, and now we have a save here prior to choosing our woman. That will allow us to skip, 5 minutes every playthrough should we need to replay the game. And you could probably get closer than that, but you can't save at the actual screen to choose the woman, so I wanted to make sure we didn't run into that screen. Because if we do, we have to choose the woman. We can't save at that menu, so. Again, choose the first dialogue option. There are quite a bit more of scenes here, and we are at the selection screen. Now, many people have said this is the best character to use to unlock the random achievement. I don't really think it matters, but I will tell you that I used this one. And so for the purposes of this guide, I will be using this one. As I said, I believe in my opening, this one got me the scene twice in our 5 years we will be spending together. So I don't think any of these options matter, so go down to the third one and select it, and then once again go down to the third one and select it. You'll get a dialogue, I believe, to pick her name, so feel free to do whatever you want. And then confirm it, and it will ask you to do the birth date now. So just like for our character, we're going to select 4. And then we're going to select 5, and our birthdays will fall on the same day. Once you're done, you can start skipping again. For a very long time, actually. And then just imagine how long this would all take if you were skipping each text box individually, like some idiot bonky-kook. Again, text box, always pick the first option for dialogue. This guy shows up, he never shows up again. I don't know who he is. Maybe because we shoot and kill him? I don't know. And now we're at a restaurant. Who knows? I don't. So we're going to skip way ahead. For any of you that have played like the Persona games after starting with Persona 3, it kind of has the same sort of timeline feel. It shows you a calendar and jumps forward a certain amount of days, and then on certain days events happen. That's kind of the same timeline for this game. You'll be shown a calendar, you'll jump forward a certain amount of game or days, random apparently, and different events will happen on different days. There we go. So we start in February, and we reach Valentine's Day and have our first scene together. Again, just pick the top option for all dialogue. When we get to scenes like this, I recommend going just to the mouth. And I recommend doing this 10 times. Once you've done it 10 times, you can hit Y to end the sequence. And then I recommend getting rid of the skip, and on the left side you can see your love points go up to 10. If you do that less, you'll get less love points. I think later on you can go up to 20 and you'll be able to get 20 points out of that. But so give it a shot if you want to. But it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. As you can see, we're skipping forward, and I don't know if the days are going to be the same for you as they are for me. Make sure you press X if you canceled the skipping so that text continues to go by quickly. We just spend a couple of weeks together here, but we can't really do anything yet. On the 3rd of March, we get married. I think that's what happened. Look like we're at a DMV. Don't know. Maybe that's what happened where you get married, and I don't know. Ah, she got close. Hey, a wedding dress. There we go. We get a little cutscene here. You can skip it with the start button. And we're married. Got another achievement there. And now we're just going to continue through the game, always picking the top options for dialogue and making sure that we restart the skipping with the X button if it has stopped. You can see that icon in the upper right-hand corner. It will let you know if you have less than, or if you have turned off the skipping. So again, just go through all of the dialogue picking the top option. There's another achievement. The bad thing about skipping like this is that it does not let you see the love points going up. So we're up to 22. We need to get up to 450 for an achievement. And we're going to get love points by mostly by going on dates, and occasionally like holidays or birthdays will have these little like kissing mini games like we saw earlier that you can get love points from. I'm calling them love points. I don't know if they actually are called that. But that's what we're going to be doing, and that's what our entire playthrough is really going to be. We're going to be going on dates. We're going to have all of these dialogue instances where we don't really understand what's being said, and we're eventually going to have a kid and live happily ever after, I guess. We'll be a lot happier once we get our 1000G, but other than that, you get, I assume you have a job, so it felt like every 2 weeks you get paid, and what happens is you now get to this screen. So I do want to cover a few things about this screen before we continue on. Number one, there is a beach that you need to go to get an achievement. Number two, there's a pink icon that shows up on these in the bottom left-hand corner that indicates that I believe that the person really wants to go to it. However, you can't repeat destinations. So what I wound up doing is I kind of ignored the pink thing, which it isn't on the screen right now, but I cycled between the park for 2,000 yen, the arcade for 3,000 yen, the karaoke for 4,000 yen, and the movie theater for 5,000 yen. And by the time I was at the movie theater, the park was able to be visited again without penalty, and so I would continue doing that. I would do that until the beach showed up the first time. When the beach showed up the first time, I picked it. And then whenever I would get to like 45 to 50,000 yen, I would go to a more expensive vacation. However you want to do that is up to you, but I'm telling you exactly the method that I use. So we're going to go ahead and start with the park. And once you're done, I'm going to slow down things and stop skipping so you can see. We get about 8 LP for a date. You can pay more and go to the more expensive options, but like the beach when we go only gives us like 16 LP, and it's 20 times the price of the park. So I don't recommend going to the very expensive options if you're looking to balance out your money, but we are going to be doing it every time. As I said, you get to like 45 to 50,000. Feel free to choose the more expensive options and then return to the 2, 3, 4, and 5,000 yen locations. So let's go ahead and continue skipping. Almost to our birthdays. Another achievement. And often on your birthdays you get one of the kissing scenes. So again, just go over the lips, and from this point on, I do recommend doing it 20 times. I did attempt to do it 30, and I only got 20 points. So I don't think going over 20 matters. So, and it might be, you might even be able to do less and still get the 20 points. I don't know for certain. But it is a little bit easier if you have a turbo controller. You can just hold the button down. I lost count. I think we're around 15, so I'm going to get to 21 just to be sure. And once you're done, hit Y. And again, stop skipping there. You can see we got 20 LP. And you can start skipping again once that goes away. You actually don't need to stop if you want. If you don't want to, you can just press Y once we get to one of these scenes. So you may have noticed a bathtub there. The random achievement has to do with naked backrub scene. Yes, of course, shameful. Um, and what happens is that bathtub shows up, and then our naked partner shows up. If the bathtub by itself just shows up, it's going to skip on and nothing happens. So, again, I don't really know exactly how to say, or there's no path to making that achievement pop. Just that's what you're looking for, that bathtub to pop up, and then your naked partner will show up, and if you choose the first option, you get the scene that is random for the achievement. We're now back to another date night. As you can see, the 2,000 yen park now has a blue circle there. I believe that means that we, it's fresh in our minds. We don't want to go back there. We were just at the park. So we're going to go to the arcade now. And our LP went up, but again, I'm not going to be slowing it down every time from now on. Once we go over things for the basics, we're just going to move on. I am going to take the time now to get a random achievement that we could have gotten earlier, so I do apologize for not pointing that out, but press Y, and once you do, you're going to go all the way down here, and press A on that to switch it, and then you're going to go up to this option and press A. Once you do, you will unlock an achievement for just entering the clothing, I guess, customization for your character. Once you're done, you can back out. You didn't do anything, so you can choose the very bottom option, and you can then press B and return to skipping and choosing the top options. And there's going to be a lot of this. From this point on, we're just going to be continuing to go on dates, continuing to choose the top options. We will occasionally, if the beach shows up, we will be going to the beach. I believe the beach is only available June, July, August for summer. And then the more expensive locations change depending on what season you're in. So you can get like a ski hill in the winter and an indoor hot spring, I believe, in the winter. So as you can see, there's now a purple one on the park and a blue one on the arcade. So we're going to go to the karaoke. And again, I don't know if your days are going to be the exact same as mine. A lot of this is random, so I can't say for certain. So now we're into June. And I think we'll see if my suspicions are confirmed. I had to do one more. So what I did is I went to the movie theater. Now, as you can see, the park seems to be available now, so we could return to the park. But I'm going to follow my initial strategy that unlocked me the achievement before. I'm going to choose the movie theater and continue my cycle around. The next time I will attempt to go to the beach, I believe. But we'll see what happens. Again, not sure entirely how random everything is. I just wanted to make this guide to kind of combine all the knowledge of the game into a single spot. Made it into July. So my initial thought was that the bathtub scenes only happened in the summer, but that was disproven when I got one in October. So I have no idea how that random achievement works. That's why. Okay, so let's see. We got another date here, and the beach is not there yet. So we're going to continue cycling through. We're going to go to the park. And these dates, again, they give you between 7 and 8 LP each time, as long as you aren't repeating the same one. I actually did find one when I repeated it, but it was preferable. Oh, shoot, we had the bathtub. But if it was a preferable place, it had that pink writing, but we had just been to it, I only got 4 points for going to it. So So this is what happened for me. I did the first 3 days of August. I had saved right before August. And then I went through these 3 days. I picked this top option. And what ended up happening is I unlocked the achievement then this month. The random one. Now, there's a couple of things on the screen here. Number one, we have the beach. So we're going to go to the beach. Number two, you can see the pink icon over here. Now, this is supposed to indicate some place that our partner really wants to go, I guess, which means we'll get an LP boost if we go. However, we just went, which means that it basically cancels out the LP boost. So we're not going to go back to that. I actually ignored the pink bubble for the majority of my playthrough. It only gives you like a 20% boost, which really isn't that big of a deal. In these terms, it's like 1 or 2 more points per visit. Not really worth stressing about. So we're going to go to the beach, though, right now. And pick the top option. Our lady's in a swimsuit, and she bounces. Now she's got a cute little kimono. And we got the achievement for going to the beach. Now this is where I unlocked the bathtub scene on my second playthrough. Or I mean my second year. From this point on, there's almost nothing that's going to change. If the kissing or whatever scenes... there's a kissing scene where she's clothed and one where she's naked. If they pop up, you're just going to kiss her mouth 20 times until... and then end it, and you'll get 20 points every time that happens. When we're going on dates, we're going to cycle through the exact same date locations until we are at a point where we have a ton of money, and then we'll go to one of the more expensive ones. As I said, in the winter, I actually end up going to one of the indoor hot springs when I have the money to do so. So for right now, we're actually going to go to the arcade. And also, every once in a while, uh, stop skipping and just check at whatever LP level you're at. Once we get to 250, we are going to be able to unlock another achievement. So, and I'm going to be rather quiet until something of note happens. But at this point, it really is just a lot of repetition. We're going to go on another date here. And again, I recommend going for karaoke. I'm trying to follow the exact path I took my first playthrough when I unlocked the random achievement in my second year. So I am ignoring the purple bubble. And what I will attempt to do for those of you that don't want to sit here through the entirety of the video is I will attempt to put timestamps for achievement unlocks if you would like to just jump ahead. As I said, most of this is very repetitive from here on out. There is very little that's going to happen that is different from what we've been doing so far. We're going to go ahead and go to the movie theater now. There will be a couple of different uh, dates once we get into December and January, and eventually we will go to the beach again once we have the money to do so. But for the most part, we're going to be cycling between those four vacation or date destinations, the 2, 3, 4, and 5,000 yen locations. And we're going to go back to the park. So what happened is I got the random achievement right after reaching 226 love points. I have no idea if that means anything, but again, I'm going to share you all of the information from my original run as I can. More information never really hurts to have, so that might mean you need to reach 200 love points to even unlock the back rubbing minigame. I don't really know, but just gonna share all the info I got. We got Christmas Eve. I think you choose a gift or something. I don't know. I don't even know if it's Christmas Eve. Maybe it's something else. Ooh, we get another mini game again. Do this 20 times. And once you hit 20, feel free to hit Y. And then if you want to just confirm you got your 20 points, you can stop skipping, and there we go. We'll restart skipping right away. So we're up to 141, which actually might, we might be ruining our pace from my original playthrough by taking advantage of the kissing mini games, because I did not do that on my first run, but trying to keep everything as accurate as possible, and maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe I found the sequence you need. We've made it into our second year. And again, just keep choosing those top options. And this is where I chose the indoor hot spring, I assume. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe it is outdoors and just enclosed. I do not know, but that's where we're going to go. So go ahead and pick that. We're just going to keep on doing the same things over and over again. Now we will return to our normal date rotation. We'll go to the arcade. And we've been in the game for an entire year now. Get another kissing minigame, so again, do this 20 times. And then press Y to finish. And as always, you can just double check you got your 20. We're up to 180, and then you can continue skipping once you have confirmation that you got your 20 points. We get an achievement for basically for every year that we exist in this universe. So we will be coming up on our first year since our marriage. There we go. And there's the achievement. And we'll go karaoke-ing. I'm sure that's the official term for it. And it's our birthdays. And just like before, do 20 times on the lips. If she reacts weird and like turns her head away, there are other portions that you can interact with and then return to the lips to see if she, you know, just sits there. Um, but I don't know if it really affects the points because in changing to other interact points and coming back to the lips, I still got my 20 points. So, um, if that does happen and you're worried about it, I did change the interaction point. I think you can kiss her nose and her chest. And then I returned to the lips and still got my 20 points. So if that does happen to you, you may have to kiss different parts and return to the lips. And I lost count, so we're going to call it good there. And we're up to 219. We're actually quite a bit ahead of where I was because I've been maximizing the kissing games. So I will say, technically, once you get to 450 LP, you don't need to do the kissing games anymore. But if you haven't unlocked the random back rub achievement yet, then I would recommend continuing to do all of the kissing mini games to their maximum 20 points. I'm not really sure if that has anything to do with it, but it can't really hurt. So we're going to go ahead to the theater here. And I apologize if you're not really into very quiet videos, but there's not a whole lot for me to say. My voice isn't that interesting. I do have a great radio face, but I mean, we'll go ahead to the park. I used to work at a retail place and I'd have to do pages all the time, and people would tell me, "Oh, you have a pretty good voice." And I was like, "And I have the radio face to match." Just some, we're just going to transition into an autobiography of Donkey Kook, I guess, in the middle of this achievement guide. We're into June. As I said, in August was when I did get the random achievement to pop on my first playthrough, August of the second year. But we are actually going to be above the LP threshold that I was. We're going to go to the arcade next. And again, I cannot stress this enough. I am such an idiot for not confirming that the settings were put in properly, because I was having to press X so I could press A and skip through the text, each individual text dialogue. You can imagine how much longer that took. I mean, that above anything else is the reason I made the beginning to this achievement guide, just so none of you make the dumb mistake that I did. Okay, another date here. We're gonna go sing some karaoke. And just to make sure, when we get into our next scene here, I'm gonna check our LP. We are at 247, so we're gonna continue. I don't think anything important is really... And we got it, folks. This is the random scene. Feel free to do this as much as you want. I don't think you really get any points for it. So, I'm only going to do it 10 times and call it good. So this is the random scene. And again, for whatever reason, I was able to trigger it in my second year with this girl. I don't know if that makes a difference. But, there's the achievement. And if that manages to pop for you like it just did for me, then you're good to go. All the rest of the achievements are very straightforward. And once you have that achievement, you don't really need to worry about your money. At any point, once you get enough to go to like the beach or the hot springs again, feel free to do so and maximize the LP you're getting, so that you can get up to 450 a bit faster. But if that achievement did not pop for you there, then I do recommend sticking to the rotation of dates that we have been doing. Because I actually, in my initial playthrough, I had saved at the end of June or July there. And then we went through the first 3 days of August doing the exact same thing. Went down to the beach here, which we're going to do. No matter what, I recommend going to the beach here. Okay, folks, sorry if I had a bit of a jump there. I had to take a phone call, so... just going to continue on as we have been. Again, if that random achievement didn't pop for you, continue following the cycle of everything we've done so far. As I said, I've done this twice now with this character, and following this path seems to trigger that, but I don't want to say that and guarantee it. It might just be that I'm getting lucky, and so I don't want to say for certain that it does proc that scene to happen following along the way that I have done things, but I am feeling a little more confident in my strategy, seeing that I was able to repeat it, albeit we did a little bit better in the kissing minigames the second time through than I did on my initial run, so... But, gonna go to the movie theater now. We're gonna keep to relatively the same strategy of the dates, even though we have finished the achievement. And now that we have undoubtedly reached the 250 LP threshold, we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves an achievement. So what we need to do here is we're actually on the second menu. So if you are on this menu, you need to swap over. As I pointed out before, this is save, this is load. So go down and swap to this menu. And we need to go here to the second option, and then we pick the first one here. And that's going to take us out to dinner. And this is actually a rather lengthy section, and this is where the other non-top responses are going to be. I think you can get stuck in a loop with this one as well. So once we start seeing that our top option is green, which means we've selected it before, we're going to select the bottom options. Well, that's interesting. There was only one there. It's making me a liar. But anyways, we got the achievement, and now that is the 250 LP event done. So actually, we're going to get to our next day, and we're going to do a quick achievement check just to make sure that you are similar to where I am. We're at 9 out of 12, so we still have the 450 LP event, and then we have 2 story achievements left. So we're golden now with that random achievement done. And again, as I said, it is random to my knowledge, but I have been able to proc it twice following this general strategy as we've done in the video so far. But if you don't, you may have to replay it, and that's why I did make a save at the beginning of the game, so you can ignore the prologue and just get rapidly to the point where you choose the female that you want to spend the rest of your life with. If you do have to replay, you can just jump in there and choose this girl and try again. Or, as I said, I had heard a bunch of people say that the red-haired girl, the third one, was someone who they got the achievement with easily as well. So but the rest of this is very repetitive. We're going to go ahead to the park here. It just happens to coincide with the pink bubble, but we'd be picking it even if the bubble wasn't there. And we got 8 LP. I think normally you get like 6, so I mean, it is an increase, but it's not really significant enough to worry about. And we're going to choose the arcade this time. I don't know if I ever finished this thought earlier, but you do get like a... I don't know if it's every 2 weeks or every month you get kind of like an allowance of money. I'm not sure if it's implied that we're working, or I'm working, or she's working, or we're both working, or whatever, but that's how you get money. And the only expense you have ever, apparently, is going on dates. So, must be nice. But every year you get an extra 1,000 yen per payment. So, I think you start getting 8,000 yen per payment, and you get 9,000, 10,000 as you go throughout the years. So you will build up more money as you go through and can afford more expensive dates should you need it. Although by the time you're getting 10K per payment, you're probably going to be over the 450 LP threshold anyways. So doing anything is just, at that point, is just for fun. There aren't any achievements require you to go any higher than 450. So we'll go get some karaoke here. And it really is going to get rather quiet from me from this point on. Again, kiss her 20 times and then finish off. And as always, I like to double check we get our 20. There we go. We do have a 61K, so we're going to go back to the hot spring. And we have made it into our 3rd year, on the calendar at least. Now it's been 3 years since she was created. 2 years? 2 years since she was created, and we're in our 3rd year. Yeah. So that works. And then next month, it'll have been 2 years since we got married. We're going to go ahead to the movie theater this time. And we get another one of these. So again, 20 times. The only reason I'm doing this is we need to make sure that we're at 350. So once we get to 450, we can unlock the final non-story related achievement. It's been 2 years since we got married. There's another achievement. So we only have 2 achievements left. Unfortunately, we have a lot of time left before... I believe we have 2 more years of playing to get the final story achievement. So, the good news is the final year is... you skip a lot of time. I believe she gets pregnant, so your activities slow down quite a bit, so you just skip all the way through. There's not a whole lot to that final year, but we do have 1 more full year of activities, so. And if you still need that random achievement, then feel free to keep following along with exactly the activities that I am giving for the dates. And again, 20 times. And we will go to the arcade next. Get some karaoke. And we'll go to the movies next. I basically only choose the beach or the hot spring if they show up. But otherwise I stick to the 2, 3, 4, 5,000 yen rotation. So we'll go to the park this time. And let's see if there's a beach. Because if there is, I'm beginning to think the beach shows up in August. We're going to head to the beach. think we got to 430 LP, but I'm going to double check just to be sure before we move on. Yep, 433. We need 450, so we got probably 2 or 3 more dates or another kissing minigame. So something else I'm kind of interested to see from this playthrough is we were more efficient in getting LP points in this playthrough than I was on my initial one, and we got the random achievement a couple of weeks earlier than I did in my initial playthrough. So I'm curious now. I also got that cutscene to show up in October of my 4th year. And so I'm curious if, since we're still being very efficient on our LP, if that scene may proc in September or October, or August of our last year. We're going to go ahead and go to the arcade here. I'm genuinely interested to see if that happens, because it would then imply that there is some method to that achievement and it isn't completely random. But I don't know. It's always so jarring when she just shows up closer to the screen. It's like she's gonna murder us. Well, that completely disproves my theory. We are gonna do it, but we're only gonna do it once, because there's not really any point for us to spend too much time on it. So that's our second proc for that minigame. I suppose there is a chance that we're so far ahead of my pace of LP that it procced a year in advance, but that seems a little weird to me. We're only at 439. Let's see, what are we? We're gonna go to karaoke next. So I was wrong. I do apologize. I thought it was my 4th year that I triggered it. It was October of my 3rd year. So that is rather specific timing. I had just hit 400 in October of my 3rd year on my first playthrough, and then I hit it again. We had hit 400, we're at 439 or something like that in October of this playthrough, and got the scene to proc. So it seems like this should be a consistent way to get that achievement, but I would have to do a lot more testing before I'm willing to say that for certain. I think we might need one more date, but let's double check. Make sure. 453. Okay, so we can get that final achievement here. Well, other than the story one. So go down to, again, if you are on this menu with save and load on it, we need to go down here and press A to flip the menu. Then we need to go to the second option here, and we go down to the third option. We'll go ahead and start skipping. You can just pick all the top options again. We get a nice little hug. And die because we can't breathe. And that scene is much faster than the other one. There you go. There's our 11th achievement for 200G there. And now we just need to finish the story, which is, as I said, we're not too far away. With the 2 procs of the random achievement, we're already in December here, and our last year goes by rather quickly, so. But again, I'll continue doing the dates the way that we have been. So we'll go to the park next. And we don't need to worry about LP anymore. You don't really need to worry about anything. So if we do get any of those kissing mini games, I'm going to end them right away. But, as I said before, if you do need the random event, the back rub event, I do recommend continuing to maximize your LP points. So I think we're going to get one relatively soon here. Like now. So I'm just going to do one and then end it. If you need the random achievement, then feel free to do the 20 and continue on. We got 9, but we could have gotten 20 if we had wanted. But we are almost there. We're now into our 4th year. We're gonna go to the arcade here. We'll go to karaoke. Pretty sure I missed the hot spring this year because I wasn't paying attention. Not a big deal, I don't think. Valentine's Day, we're going to get a little mini game, and again, if you still need the random achievement, I do recommend going for 20. Otherwise, we're just going to go ahead and get one and call it good. And we have made it. Well, not quite. Apparently, we gotta go on a date first. So we'll go to the theater next. But this is our 3-year anniversary here. I think she gets pregnant today. You get a little credit sequence you can skip with the start button, and when you'll have to resume skipping with the X button when you come back. No idea what's going on here. I actually got concerned that the game was ending and I hadn't gotten my last achievement when I went through my first playthrough, but then we returned to normal here. Somewhat. As I said, we skip through a lot in the next year now. Excuse me. And again, if you need a random scene, feel free to go to 20, but we're just going to get one and call it good. You do get quite a few more scenes at the beginning than you normally would, but by the time the summer and fall roll around, you skip quite a few more days than you normally do. I guess the implication is that once she's pregnant, we can't go out on dates anymore. So as you can see, we're skipping almost an entire month at a time there. And our goal now is just to return to March of next year, the anniversary of our wedding, and that will be the end. And we unlock our last achievement. I believe the game continues after that. You can if you want to, but I'd actually recommend that if you don't have the random achievement by that point, that you just start a new game. I don't want to speak for this game specifically, but there are quite a few games that have content created for the story section of the game, and then if they allow you to continue on infinitely afterwards, the content may not trigger. So the back rub sequence that you need for the achievement may not trigger after that 5th or 4th anniversary when the final story achievement unlocks. So I don't want to speak for this game. Maybe it does, but if I were in the position where the achievement hadn't unlocked, I would probably just as soon start a new run through of the game where the game is programmed to have all these different things happen, if that makes sense to you. I know there are other games that have done that where once the final story achievement unlocks, but you can continue infinitely, then some of the content doesn't work properly afterwards. So, but you can see we're just skipping right on ahead. You do have to choose your baby's name when you have the baby and the sprite, although I don't know if we ever see the baby. Interestingly, I think we went to the 12th of December twice. I'll have to watch that footage back. And if you still need the random one, feel free to, once again, try to get 20, but we're just going to go ahead and get one and skip forward here. You're running out of time to get the back rib scene, and I don't know if it's even possible while she's pregnant, so figure out if that's a risk you want to take or not. Happy New Year! We are into what will be the final year of our guide here. Because once the final story achievement unlocks, that's all you needed me for. And we had a kid. Hooray! Just like before, feel free to name the kid whatever, and choose whatever sprite you want. Go down to the third option there, and then choose whatever combination of characters you want. I don't know if there's some sort of patterns to Japanese that might cause errors when typing in characters, like syntax error. Like you can't combine these characters. I don't really know. So I'm still curious about the errors I got when I was typing in characters at the beginning of the playthrough. And if that has something to do with it, I may just be ignorant. I've never been one to study foreign languages. My fiance does. If she was here, she'd probably know. Okay. We're almost there, folks. Just gotta get into March and we'll get that last sweet achievement if you were lucky enough to get the back rib scene to proc. As I said, my first playthrough I got it twice. My playthrough recording here, we got it twice. So I'm rather confident that following along with me will get you that achievement to proc. So again, we're just going to do one here. If you really want to, you can go ahead and go for 20 to prop up your points. But we are almost at the end of our playthrough, so I don't know if you can still even proc the scene at this point. And we have made it into March. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is our final achievement. Not going to continue on any further. There's no real need to. Again, if you've been following along with me, you might have been lucky enough to get that random achievement. If you have not, you can go into the menu here and go to load. Because as I pointed out, we made that save file right before you choose the lady you are going to pick, and you can hop back in and try it with a different lady if it didn't work for you, or you can try again with the same lady we picked for this playthrough. But that's kind of all I got for you. As I said, I'm not entirely sure if that achievement is completely random, but it does seem like doing the same things as I have in my two playthroughs here. The random scene popped consistently in close to the dates that it should have in both playthroughs. So it was close enough that I feel like there may be a pattern to it. So I do recommend following along with what I've done here, and hopefully you get your achievement, but if not, you may have to run through the game a couple of times. I don't have any more tips I can offer you other than the stuff I've given you in the last hour and 40 minutes, so I really do hope that it helps you out to get this completion done. If you have any questions or comments for me, as always, let me know down below and I'll do my best to answer them, but if not, folks, I will see you guys next time.